I would like to share with you the second study on the upgrading the Philippine national standard for virgin coconut oil and the Philippine VCO industry. This project was entitled the Assessment of VCO Production, GMP, and HACCP. What are GMP and HACCP? HACCP is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, which is a systematic and risk-based approach for identifying and controlling hazards to ensure food safety. HACCP is a very important aspect of the food industry. And then, as you can see in this triangle, below HACCP, you have the Sanitation Standards Operation Procedures, and at the bottom, which is the most basic, is good manufacturing practice. In order to achieve HACCP, you have to have GMP as well as SSOP. And HACCP certification is a requirement of the international market to ensure food safety, traceability, environmental sustainability, and fair trade. Therefore, HACCP is very important for the VCO industry. So the objective of this project is to assess a VCO production process using GMP and HACCP and to recommend specific improvements to each of the VCO producers. The status of HACCP implementation in the Philippine VCO industry is still very low. HACCP is one of the most mandated food safety management systems in food processing industries worldwide, and compliance with international product certifications such as HACCP constrains the performance and access of VCO value chain in the export market. Therefore, HACCP is needed for the VCO industry. Right now, many of the VCO industries are medium, micro, small, and medium scale enterprises, they showed low levels of compliance with GMP. Therefore, they had no compliance with HACCP as well. So this project looked at the design and layout of the production plants, and they were not efficient. And there were also unsanitary conditions and practices were observed during our visits. So we undertook plant visits to each of the participating plants, and we collected samples. So shown in these photographs are the plant visits we undertook during this project. We did on-site inspection, and we collected samples of the final product as well as the intermediate products, and we presented the findings and recommendations to the VCO producers. So we wanted to make sure that they understood the importance of GMP, SSOP, and HACCP. During the process of the inspection, we undertook a study of the physico-chemical properties of the whole process, the microbiological contamination that occurs, and how this is cleaned up during the process, the SSOP, GMP, and HACCP, as well as the sensory and the water analysis. So this is an example of the process flow of a VCO production facility, wherein each step was analyzed in terms of their physico-chemical, microbiological parameters, as well as sensory properties. The results were discussed with the companies. So we showed them the initial findings on site during the audit after the first visit. And then after the analysis of their samples, we gave a formal presentation of the findings with recommendations. The evaluation of the action plans was undertaken. So we recommended things for each VCO company to do, and then these were evaluated after a second visit. So the results were verified. The action plans they proposed were verified, and the reassessment of the plant was done in order to comply with GMP and to see that they would comply also as well with HACCP. This is an example of the assessment of a VCO layout plant. So the figure on the left was the original setup, and then with the recommendations, it was recommended that they improve the layout, and that improved layout is shown on the right. Therefore, this project worked very closely with the VCO producers. These are examples of improvements in the plant sanitation in terms of installation of hand washing sinks, entrance door with PVC strips, and the improvement in the comfort rooms, the setup of the husking nuts to minimize contamination, improved sanitary dispensing system, and improved electrical system. So this project also produced several manuals and guidebooks, which were turned over to the VCO producers, and workshops were undertaken with them. So this research program was undertaken by 5 research projects. Project 1 was the physico-chemical factors, which I described earlier. Project 2 was investigation of microbiological factors, which affect the quality of VCO. Project 3 was an investigation of factors affecting sensory properties and acceptability of VCO. Project 4 is this project which I just described, assessment of VCO production, GMP and HACCP. And Project 5 was a moisture and water activity determination and its effect on VCO stability. So this was a comprehensive and integrated research program to ensure that the quality of VCO is improved, as well as the VCO companies themselves would be able to meet the VCO standards. So again, we'd like to thank PCIEERD DOST for the funding. Coordination is acknowledged with PCA as well as the VCO Association, and we'd like to thank the companies, the VCO operators. So on that note, we thank you for listening, and we hope that the VCO quality of VCO in the Philippines continues to improve.